Kotaku writes, Ubisoft is massively reworking Ghost Recon Breakpoint. An extreme case of eating crow, which I've never heard that saying before. Does anyone know what the...
Yeah.
No?
I don't know
That
what
is a
means.
saying.
Is it? I've never heard it in my life.
What does it mean?
It means eating crow. Crow doesn't taste great, but you have to do it because that's like it's like say wiping your butt with your hand because you've got no toilet paper left. It's a last resort, you know.
So you're saying it's like saying in an extreme case of eating shit.
You say when there's no other options, you're going to eat crow. Is that the?
I guess.
Right.
Let's look it up.
Let's look it up.
Let's look it up.
The one that's like, what does eating crow mean?
That's totally a saying. I don't know what it means, though.
Eating crow is a colloquial idiom used in English-speaking countries that means humiliation by admitting having been proven wrong after taking a strong position.
Okay. So that was nothing like what you described.
The crow is a carrion eater that presumably repulsive to eat in the same way that being proven wrong may be emotionally hard to swallow.
Oh. I gotta be honest, I've never heard that saying in my life.
I've never heard that saying, and we should not
Who
get
wrote
Ashley
this?
to explain.
Who wrote this Kotaku story? Stephen Totillo himself. Radio. Well, continuing. In an extreme case of eating crow, which you all know what it means now, as you'll see from a big game publisher, Ubisoft said today that they're cancelling Ghost Recon Breakpoint's planned second raid, reducing its aggravating always online requirement, and will soon release an update that lets players deactivate its despised loot system. It's all in service of trying to salvage a game that has had a disastrous first 5 months. Ubisoft is highlighting today's news with a focus on a new immersive mode, an optional way of experiencing Breakpoint to which players will be able to switch on the fly. This mode is tantamount to an admission that the most significant change Ubisoft added to the traditional tactile and self-focused franchise of Breakpoint was bad. At launch, players who ventured across Breakpoint's vast and violent island landscape found that the guns and armor they picked up after defeating enemies all had stats that contributed to an overall gear score number, which needed to be raised so players could take on tougher missions and enemies. This meant players were constantly ditching and replacing their weapons, having to play the game as if they were playing Diablo or Destiny. In a nod toward Ghost Recon's traditional focus on rewarding tactile skill over stat grinding, players who use immersive mode will be able to pick up a weapon and find it viable throughout their time playing the game. In this mode, gear score is gone. Players who use this mode will also be able to customize settings for the character's stamina and health, clear clutter from the game's head-up display, and even determine whether getting shot always causes severe injury. Immersive mode is the headliner for Ubisoft's big Breakpoint overhaul, which is slated for March 24th. But this is just one of several dramatic changes that are coming about as Ubisoft rips up its roadmap. So originally they had like all these fucking raids play. Originally, looking at the roadmap, it literally just looked like a division spin-off roadmap type thing.
It's always confused me how they have at the moment, how they have like Ghost Recon and Division being side by side, because it's like
they look like the same game.
Aren't you guys the same thing now? Like, don't you guys do the same thing? Shouldn't Ghost Recon, shouldn't you be more maybe single player based with like maybe a more enriched story and character driven story that's more about tactile espionage than actual...
Well, I don't need to go that far. Here's the main difference, them changing and adding this immersive mode is how the game should be, because that's what people like about the game. And I don't mind it being the online shared Division stuff. You just have to get rid of the RPG stuff to keep it Ghost Recon. Because for people who don't understand, the reason this was pissing people off, because I played the beta, and although apart from some beta-ish bugs, which I was willing to forgive, number one thing that was like, well, this is a bit weird, is that it did just feel like the Division. Because even though I did play the Ghost Recon prior to that, I have played ones back on previous consoles, right? And the thing is, creep up on a base, get a headshot on someone, you should just shoot them in a Ghost Recon game in the head, and they should just die. However, in this game, you shoot them in the head, they may die, but it says, you did 747 damage, critical hit, all that sort of stuff. People are like, it's Ghost Recon. Like, I should just be able to play the entire game with a fucking pistol and no armor if I'm that good. Like, if you're that good, you should just be able to headshot, and you can play the game that way. But that's not how they wanted the game to be played.
That's the problem with it being an online multiplayer game, though, is that they wanted some way to balance it and make it fair across all players.
Why? Just make the AI harder.
But it isn't. But then, if you're just worried about AI and what the players are doing, just make it don't make it an online thing. Have it make it all be playable in co-op.
Yeah,
make it
yes.
Make it all be playable in co-op. Sure, don't make it like a multiplayer, like a mass multiplayer online game. Don't do that. Like, there's no.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Like, yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
You've got Division for that. Go let people play Division if they want that. Like,
I'm not against them pushing it as like. You're right. Like, there is a definite like difference between like pushing the game as we want most people to play this game in co-op with free friends, compared to you're always online and random people drop into your game. Yeah, there is a difference there. But we get so used to that that even I'm like, what's the difference? No, wait, there is a difference.
Exactly. Like, that's the thing where it's like Ubisoft, it gets a sense to me that Ubisoft has just seen how successful The Division was and gone, we'll just do that to Ghost Recon as well.
Forever.
Let's just do that. Let's do that to them as well and just have that a little bit different. And it's like, no, you guys don't need to do that. If people wanted Division, they'd play Division.
Exactly.
Like, let Ghost Recon be its own thing, which is sometimes it's very hard for, especially throughout the years, for these Tom Clancy games to differentiate themselves across the board, because they're all kind of very gritty and real, and they're kind of very similar in the world in terms of what they're about. So let them have their own game styles and let them have.
Well, they kind of have now. Other than Ghost Recon, that's the only franchise that doesn't have its own flavor, I guess. Because Division,
but at the minute, all they've got in the Tom Clancy section really is Division and Ghost Recon
and Rainbow Six Siege.
That's true.
It's
arguably the most impressive game.
Siege. I don't know why I just don't include Siege when I think about it. Fair enough.
Because it came out like
carry on with your lives.
4 years ago or something.
Also, I bring up Siege is a good point, because I think it's a weird narrative to be like, Ubisoft always fixes their shit games, and not be like, well, why are they always having to fix their shit games? Like, I understand that it's like everyone loves Rainbow Six now, Siege, right? But everyone hated it at launch, and that was like a success story, and at the time that was a great success story. But if every other game they put out after then is a similar story, and you got to start wondering, like, you aren't learning. Like, you should be at one stage here, one of these games should just come out the gate right, you know?
Division 2 wasn't bad. Division 2 came out good.
Yeah, I would say Division 2 is like middle ground. That they changed some things as the game went that people complained about and so on and so forth. But that was also the second one, and the first one had a lot of complaints. So I feel like they at least took on the stuff from the first one and then implemented it for the second one. But yeah, it's like, oh, Rainbow Six, they fixed that. Oh, Division, they fixed it in the sequel. Isn't it great how Ghost Recon Breakpoint, they're now 5 months later deciding to fix it? It's like, yes, but also no, because why'd they do it in the first place? You know, like, it's not a pat them on the back scenario kind of thing. It's one of those where it's like, stern nod. You're making the right decision, but I hope you learn not to do this next time. Not like, good job. I feel like there's
great job for fixing it.
Yeah, great job for fixing.
It's like if you stole something and then took it back and put it back to where you stole it from, and the person who you stole it from was like, great job, let me reward you for bringing it back.
Yeah, thanks for bringing back the thing you stole. Yeah, it'd be weird. But I hope that they fix it, right? So March 24th, it's still a couple weeks away from finding out if the fans were all happy with this when it drops. I may, if fucking free time frees up, I may even want to check it out. If
you're not playing this game.
I may dive in if they put it up for like $20.
You're not playing this game, mate. No way you're going to have time to play this game. When are you going to have time to play this?
I know there's a period between... There's like 2 days between Final Fantasy and...
August?
Like August, maybe?
Yeah. Well, if it's fixed and there's a free period and it's like cheap one day, it's the kind of thing I could see myself diving in for like a weekend.
Listen.
I don't believe you're going to do it.
There's a chance all the games that we think are going to come out are going to get delayed again. Whether it's because of marketing, manufacturing,
Yeah.
coronavirus, anything. They could all just get pushed back even
It's
more.
not going